Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute, I'm about to quit my job, cash in for a ticket. I'm going on a trip and I don't plan to visit. I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning, and this is just the beginning. I need a big change, help me feel like living. I need a big swing, home runs I'm hitting, and I'll never look back, moving on till I get it all. And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it, how you gonna move for it, what you gonna be, and do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be?
Well, all right. Welcome to another fun episode of Unscripted. I think this is episode 348. With me tonight, we got guest analyst Gonzo from Gonzo Sports Room. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right. How you doing, man?
Man, I can't complain. I'll know about 6:45 when the Astros play today if we could beat these St. Louis Cardinals and get back in the sweep of things. But and I know you guys got y'all got the Orioles today, and Frankie's got the A's. I think Frankie's got the easiest team of all of us to play today, so he should have no problem sweeping them A's, man. But a lot of good stuff out there, man. Make sure you guys check out Unscripted on all of our social media outlets. You can catch us on Facebook at Unscripted. You can check us on Twitter at Unscripted Guys, and then, of course, Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube, all at Unscripted Sports. So make sure you give us a look-see, and then make sure you're checking out Gonzo Sports Room on the afternoon show at 1, around the bases at 9 a.m. Eastern. Of course, all times Eastern, 9 a.m., and then he's got Easy Money at 3. So, and then, of course, we got the late show Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, along with also Gonzo's wrestling events. So, man, lots of stuff, lots of places to get all kinds of sports content. And, yeah, man, before we jump right into it, I do want to remind everybody, starting Thursday, we're going to do a segment called Close to Home. And basically what that's going to be is it's going to be a 30-minute segment divided into 3 sections. And we're each going to talk about whatever team it is we're promoting. For Gonzo, it would be the Reds, Colts, Fever. For me, it would be Astros. I'm probably going to wind up doing the Texans and Rockets. And then Frankie is, I think, the Bruins and Yankees and Liberty and so forth. So Lakers as well. And then I think Logan is Atlanta and pretty much everything Atlanta. So that just kind of gives you an idea of the teams that we'll be covering throughout the rest of the years coming up. And make sure you tune in for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. But Gonzo, man, let's go ahead and get into the first topic up for talking. We all know this Angels team, man, Jesus. They put up a lot of runs. And it seems like these historic games and these historic blowouts are rather contagious, Gonzo. I think it kind of transferred over from that Angels game over into the College World Series, it seems like. But what did you think about that historic 25-1 win over the Colorado Rockies?
Yeah, it was just I mean, Angels are a pretty good hitting team anyway. I mean, they're hitting 259 on the season as a team, so that's pretty good.
Right.
That's going to have them. If I remember right, that would put them in the top. They're in the top 10 in Major League Baseball because the Reds are 11 at 257 and the Angels are at 259. So it's going to put them probably, I would say, 9 or 10 in baseball. So they're in the upper half as a hitting team. That game was just one of those games where all their batters was seeing the ball real well, and the Colorado pitchers just it was almost like they were throwing batting practice. They just didn't have no answer for it. And you get that if you get a team that pitcher out there that is struggling with location, and a team sees 2 or 3 guys go up there and hit the ball hard, it can get contagious and everybody can start hitting the ball hard. For example, Reds and Braves the other night. Reds gave up 5 runs in the first inning because the pitcher couldn't find his location. He was missing. He was trying to throw outside and throwing right down the middle. Well, then the next 2 innings or next 3 innings, he found his location, and Braves didn't score no more runs. But so I mean, I think people forget how big it is for a pitcher to be able to hit their location. Because if you're trying to throw a ball inside and you miss and it's right over the middle of the plate, there's a good chance that ball is going 400 something feet. So I think it was a combination of the Rockies pitchers struggling with location and then the Angels hitters just getting hot. And sometimes, like I said, you see 2 or 3 of your teammates get a hit, it can start feeding and trickle down through the rest of your lineup.
Absolutely. If you look at that game and you break it down, the 3 innings that really man, the 3 innings that just really killed them. The first one was the 3rd inning. Really, the 3rd inning killed them. The other innings were just kind of add-on innings. But that I think it was 13 runs in the 3rd inning. I mean, that 3rd inning was just ridiculous at what they did. Of course, then you got 8 runs in, I believe, the 6th, and then you got, I think, another 4 runs down the road. So, I mean, he had pretty big innings. Anderson, he only lasted 2.2 innings, man. Gave up 10 hits and 9 runs. And then you had Carissity, who came in and gave you a 0.1 out, but yet gave up 4 hits and 6 runs. And then, of course, Davis rounded it out with 3 innings, 11 hits and 9 runs. So, obviously, a couple of those guys, I think, got ERAs of about 10.5 or 10.6. 25 hits, 28 runs, 0, believe it or not, 0 errors were in the game. And I think the Angels wound up getting 5 home runs. It was a franchise record for them for runs and hits. Trout obviously broke out of that slump that he was in and gave you 3 for 3. Trout, Drury, and Theus hit consecutive home runs. And Gonzo, and I think Frankie's going to like this, the last time that was done, all consecutive pitches, 3 consecutive pitches, 3 consecutive home runs, was the Yankees on September 17th, 2020, and it was Gardner, LeMahieu, and Voit in that order. So, I mean, we really saw a lot of different things historic-wise in this specific game, right? Runs, hits, 3 consecutive pitches. I mean, it was crazy, Gonzo.
But the problem with it, though, Jay, is they done all that in that one game, and then they still lost the series. And because of that one game, they outscored the Rockies in that series, but still lost because they lost the other 2 games.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know if you remember that old movie with Kevin Costner in it called Tin Cup. Remember that? Remember when he's at the most important part, most pivotal part of the movie? He's getting ready. He has an opportunity that he can lay up. He can do whatever and still have an opportunity to win the championship, right? And what does he do? It takes him 12 shots. But do you know in that 12th shot, it was a hole-in-one? Kind of reminds me of this game. Kind of reminds me of this game, right? You lost the series, but that was a hell of a hit.
But the Angels are in decent position though as a team. I mean, they have a winning record right now, and they're right there for a wild card spot. So, I mean, they're in decent position compared to where they've been over the last few years.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And just for the record, the margin of victory that this one was tied for 3rd place since 1900. The other 3 teams obviously were Texas that won over the Baltimore Orioles in 2007, 30-3. Boston at 29-4 over St. Louis Browns in 1950. So, and believe it or not, one last piece of trivia for you. That was the 2nd time that starter Anderson gave up 3 consecutive hit home runs. Just to throw that out there. That was not his first time that he's done that. So, Man, I don't know. Maybe Anderson needs to find a new line of work, or maybe his catcher was just terrible.
I just put.
You don't know, man. Me and Gonzo have been having this debate: pitchers versus catchers. You know what, though, Gonzo? I thought about this a little bit more today, and I really thought about what you and Tony were saying, and I can see your side of that argument. You know, a catcher can go out there and call the game of his life, but at the end of the day, if the pitcher doesn't execute the pitches, then the game plan really didn't matter. So I do want you to know that I thought a little bit more about what you were saying, and yeah, I kind of get your point.
With the Angels, real quick on this, Frankie says shortstop.
Frankie still said shortstop.
Real quick with the Angels, but if I'm the Angels, I would be more. Yes, that win was a great win because it was so historic, but I'd be more concerned about the 2 losses that you had because you're facing a Rockies team that doesn't have good pitching. I mean,
right?
They got almost a 6 ERA as a team,
right?
And to lose a series to a team that doesn't have pitching, that would make me be concerned. Even though we had the big game, made history, but we got to clean it up because we shouldn't be losing a series to a team that doesn't have very good pitching. And I'm not an Angels fan.
That is, I mean, I get his comment there too, and I think that's kind of where I was going back in the day. But he says with catcher defense, you think Bumgarner would have had those wins if he didn't have Buster Posey, and it's good. Again, I really believe I see Gonzo's point of how hard it is and the importance of being a pitcher. I get all that. I also think, with that really, the pitcher and the catcher, they need each other, man. A pitcher has to have trust that if he throws a ball and it hits the dirt, that catcher can keep that ball in front of him so that the runner doesn't score. So, I mean, they need each other, man. Honestly, I think that's a tandem team where, one can make the other look good and vice versa. So there's a lot of different ways I think, honestly, you can look at that argument. It just depends on what angle you're coming from, truthfully. But I'll tell you, Gonzo, I don't know if we'll ever see another MLB game like that. It's been a hot minute since we've seen a high-scoring game like that, especially. And I wonder, now that they did away with the shift, where now more contact hitters can get on base, do you think that maybe we will see more games or high-scoring games like this?
Well, I think if you look around baseball, we've and I haven't looked it up, but it's just from me watching games. I think scoring is up this season. I think we're seeing more games 7-5 or 6-4 or. I mean, we might not be getting up in the 20s every game, but I mean, hell, I've seen the Reds play games 9-6. Don't get me wrong, we still see some of the 3-2 games, the 2-0 games. You still get some of those, but it seems like as a whole that we're seeing more runs scored.
Right.
Which I think is good. I think is good for baseball as trying to get new fans wise. I think it's good for baseball if you have the action and have some more runs being scored. Now, I don't want to see a 25-1 game every damn night. If you see like a 6-5 game, or even that Reds game against the Braves last Friday, it ended up being 11-10. It was 11.
That was still an insane game. That was a slugfest.
But it was an awesome game because it kept going back and forth. The Braves had the lead all the way up to the 8th inning. But the Reds tied it up, then the Braves took the lead. But the Reds never led till the 8th inning of that game, and ended up winning. But they tied it up like in the 5th.
Yeah.
Braves came absolutely. Back. And I think games like that is what will help grow the game when you have those games where each team scores 4 or 5 runs, but the outcome of the game is still in jeopardy till the end. And I think that's how I think games like that is what helps grow the sport.
It's no secret. I've been adamant about hating the shift being taken away, but I will say this. Taking away the shift really does bring back small ball. I think when you had the shift, small ball kind of died off a little bit because everybody was going for the fences. Now that you take away the shift, because I was calling them midfielders. They're not really playing infield. They're not outfield. It's almost like you had outfielders and midfielders, and then you had a pitcher and a catcher, and that's it. But now that you kind of took that midfield away from them, it really does open up a lot for contact hitting, which I do think is, if you look at it from that point of view, is good for baseball because I like to see small ball. So bunting, hitting that short blooper, all that stuff is coming back now, like Gonzo said. And I'm really surprised that batting averages haven't actually increased because of that. Do you think that's kind of weird that even though they took the shift away and now you're playing on the dirt instead of the grass, are you surprised that maybe we're not seeing as much in the higher batting averages?
Well, I think if you look at batting averages have increased because I think this time last year, most teams were hitting like 230. I mean, it was
right.
down. If you look now, I think I counted earlier that like 16 teams are hitting over, about 17 or 18 teams are hitting over 250.
Hey, guess what? The Yankees ain't one of them.
So I think, you still have some teams that. Well, you don't get me wrong. You have like 3 teams that are hitting in the 220s, but you have a lot of teams that are in the high 240s, 250. You have some teams in the 260s. Like, the Rays are hitting 266 as a team.
John Suggs puts a very interesting comment up, and that's really interesting. He says batting average is up 16 points. Stolen bases have spiked 30%, and the average game time is down 31 minutes. Again, these are all good metrics for the game of baseball. I really like the stolen bases being up 30% because you only get 2 times to get the guy, and if you don't get him on the second go around, then then it's what is it? I think it's a balk if you try to go a third time. Is that correct?
I think so. I ain't 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
I'll tell you, I like that. And Ray Cruz, man, we appreciate the love, man. Thank you, sir. Frankie says we're not, but still better than the Astros. Hey, he's not lying. Right now, they're a half a game up on us, so he isn't lying. We swept the Dodgers and the Reds to the Astros, and of course, the answer to that is hell no. Thank you for the walk down memory lane, Frankie. I so appreciate you.
Hey, Jay, who's the only team to sweep the Astros?
Hey, listen, I done gave you your props. Let's not go overboard, okay? Damn. I feel like I need that 1-800 crisis line every time I talk to you and Frankie. I kid you not, Gonzo. Do you know every time I talk to you and Frankie, my blood pressure goes up by 30? That's not my time to be alive, man. Not my fault. Oh, John, I'm glad you said that. Frankie, John wants to know about that Red Sox sweep. He said, if you need the dustpan back, you can get it from Jay. Awesome sauce, man.
If the Reds win today, if the Reds can win today and avoid getting swept by Baltimore, or wait, no, this is only the second game of the series.
About to say, right now you're only got one on you. Yeah. So,
but if the Reds, the last team to sweep the Reds was the Yankees. Since then, the Reds have won like 6 or 7 straight series.
So maybe that Yankees juju got on you.
Until they lost that series to the Braves, they'd won like 6 or 7 straight series, and the last time they got swept was by the Yankees. I was actually at one of those games.
Frankie says he's still in the Red Sox. Didn't the lose picking Rangers? How was that? Okay. He's trying to say there, but okay. Ray Cruz says the Braves took 2 out of 3 from the Reds. Yeah, Gonzo just pointed that out. Yeah. What a time to be alive. Thanks, Rob Scott.
Series lost. He has the first series lost in like 5 or 6 series. But they were all 3 real close competitive games, though. It sucked. I only got to really watch. I got to watch one of them. The other two I had to listen to on the radio because I was at wrestling shows. But we had it on the radio. I thought we were doing the show so we could listen.
Hey, look, as long as you're keeping tabs on them, that still counts. So you're keeping tabs.
We have Sirius satellite radio. We turned it on the phone and had it playing the whole time, so we knew what was going on. But
well, I can honestly tell you that I do hope you guys. Yeah. Hey, I hope you guys take these next 2 games against Baltimore. I really do.
Well, I got to watch my boy Dela Cruz hit for the cycle on Friday night. So
that's incredible. Is Is that the first? He's hit the cycle before that too, though. That's not his first cycle, was it?
No, De La Cruz.
I thought he had a couple of cycles in there.
That's his first cycle in Major League Baseball, and he was the fastest one to do it. He's only played, I think, 17 games in the major leagues, and he's already hit for a cycle.
He hasn't played much.
It was either, I think it was.
Well, like Frankie said, man, the guy's magical.
I think it was that 17th. I think that Friday when he done it, I think that was his 17th major league game, and he got the cycle.
You know, the last time I seen a guy that had the kind of speed that De La Cruz has, and actually De La Cruz is actually faster than the guy I'm going to say, but the last time I seen a super quick guy in MLB was Michael Bourne. I thought Michael Bourne was insanely fast. There was a lot of times he was bunting on purpose because he knew his speed could outdo it. You know,
Billy Hamilton was like that. He was pretty fast. He's not Billy's not as fast as what De La Cruz was, but Billy Hamilton was real fast. His biggest
you just don't see guys that had that kind of speed.
He couldn't get on. Hamilton's problem was he couldn't get on base consistently. He struggled to get on base, and your speed don't do you no good if you can't get on base.
He said John Suggs had picked the Rangers to beat us and lost money. What a loser. Get off the Red Sox, who's still at the bottom. Woo, Lord have mercy. Said another guy that's fast is Acuna Jr. Yeah, Acuna Jr. You're right. He is. That dude he is really quick. But I tell you that early De La Cruz though, he is special, man. Speed, has the ability to place the ball where he wants to place it. I mean, that's incredible, man. Honestly. John says, laugh out loud. I'm a Braves fan and I didn't lose any money. What a time, man. Go ahead,
The Reds have 4 rookies that are hitting like 260 or better.
Yeah.
De La Cruz is hitting like 317. I mean, we got a good crop of rookies that are playing real well right now. And then we got
no doubt. I mean, you definitely have a good crop of rookies that are playing well. Like you said, McClain, Abbott.
And then we got a rookie pitcher on the mound tonight that's been pitching real well in Abbott.
I told you what I thought about Abbott, man. When I seen him, I said this dude is special, and he is. He's special. More specifically than what Stanek did, I have a different slant I want to approach this with. As we all know, if you look at the technicality of it all, it was a balk, so it is what it is. My question to you, Gonzo, with all the new rules that they put into place that can result in a balk now, do you think that we're going to see more balk? Because truthfully, I don't think we've seen a lot of balks as much as I thought we would see.
I don't think we'll see a whole lot more, especially now. I think if we was going to see a lot of more balks with because of like the pitch clock and the new rules, I think we'd have seen it more toward the beginning of the season. I think it's going to be pretty much like it usually has. You'll see them here and there. The main bulk that you've been really seeing is just like pitchers not getting the pitch off in time.
Yeah.
Or a batter not getting in the. Well, I guess that's not really a ball because that's not on the pitcher, but a batter not.
No, but they get I think you're awarded a ball, right? The hitter gets a ball, right? If they don't get it fast enough.
Yeah. Well, if the pitcher don't get the pitch off, that's basically a balk and you get a ball. But if the batter ain't in the box by a certain time, I think they get like a strike.
I think the batter has to be looking at the pitcher ready to go at the 8-second mark. And if it goes beyond 8 seconds, then yeah, you're right. They get a strike on that. So which again is all designed to speed up that game.
I think the one you'll see more is the pitcher not getting off in time.
Yeah,
I think now you're not going to see it as much just because everybody's starting to get used to the pitch clock and getting in the kind of more of their routine, their new routine. So yeah, you'll get it every now and then. But,
absolutely. Hey, John Suggs, we are going to talk a little NFL at the end, so we will talk some NFL. Why wouldn't a pitcher get an error? I don't know if he get an error, but he definitely loses either a ball. You know what's interesting, Gonzo, and I don't remember what the result was or what the penalty was, but there was a penalty for when if a player is going back to first base, like after a foul ball or whatever the case may be, if he's not hustling to get back to first base, then it results in, I don't know if it's a balk or not a balk. I don't know if it's an out or if it's a strike. You know what I'm talking about? This happened not long ago.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that.
I think it's a strike. I don't think it's an out. I think it results in a strike. But you have to be hustling. Like if you're not hustling back to first, then it goes against your team. Like they actually penalize your team for not hustling back, which I thought was interesting.
Biggest problem with some of them rules though is there's so much. It's so much gray area and so much. It's so much of a judgment call.
Right. And, Ryan Stanek, if you're listening to this podcast, or if anybody gets this to Ryan Stanek, I just want to say one thing, but don't get mad. Just don't make stupid mistakes. Because honestly, the Dodgers got the win, but they got the win on our stupidity. Do the rules, whatever the rules are. If you got to change the way you approach things, change the way you approach it. But we can't lose games on something as stupid as stepping off the rubber. That's just a dumb thing to do, man. So whatever it is you got to do, when you touch that rubber, don't your ass move until that ball's going towards home plate.
Well, he'd have been all right, but what he done was when he started.
He had that hitch in his step. Yeah, he had that hitch.
He started like he was going to step off, and he stopped, and then he made that motion and stopped, and then stepped off, and that's why I got the balk call, because that motion kind of made it look like he was going to start going forward, and then he stopped and stepped off. So it was that little hitch. And by rule,
and that's the thing, man. Like he says, he's been doing this all season, and it's a balk. Nobody's going to deny it. I will say this for Major League Baseball, man. We got to be more consistent at calling this. If that's a balk, so be it. Then it's a balk. But if a pitcher is telling you, look, I've been doing this since day one I came into the league, and now you're calling a balk, well, okay, call it a balk. But going forward, any pitcher that does anything like that, y'all need to be consistent with that shit. That's all I want. Just give me the consistency. I don't argue that it's a balk, because by the definition, you're right. It's a balk. Just give me the consistency. That's all I want from it.
Well, that's where it goes back to, there's so much judgment in it, and you get new umpires. You get these younger umpires coming up. Well, when Stanek was younger, them guys might have not been umpiring at that level. So this guy might not have seen Stanek very, very much. You know what I mean? So that might have been.
Hey, watch this. You see him now, and Stanek, you're not off the hook either. You now you know. So now you've been told, and that's my thing. Stanek is just as much at fault, right?
Yeah, but do you see what I'm?
Yeah, I know. I see what you're saying.
Like,
yeah,
right. Get new
but I do think. But I would like to see start of next baseball league. Maybe you can talk to him now, but I want to see at the beginning of next baseball league, and if Rob Manfred or whoever's in charge of this umpiring, officiating crew, they need to bring them all into a conference room, every damn umpire in the league, and say, listen, guys, these are the rules. Call it consistently or don't call it. If you're not going to call it, don't call it one day. Everybody knows what the rules are now. Even Stanek knows what the rules are. Just give me the consistency.
I understand that, but the only problem with it is it's judgment to each umpire, because you're the one that's watching it, and it's what you see. You know what I mean? So it's.
Yeah, I get it. I get it, but at the same time, these what these guys are paid for. They're paid. If you're the second base umpire, you're paid to watch this dude, right? You said.
But what I'm saying is, it's like me and you could see this. We could both see it, and we could interpret it different ways. You know what I mean? And that's the thing they got to figure out, because it's not always the same umpire. You got so many different people, and
that's what I'm saying. That's why I think you get them all collectively in the conference room, and you put out the disciplines at one time to where everybody has a clear understanding, what it is, and again, Ryan Stanek, he has to own his shit. It's a balk. He has to learn from it and take it going forward. So it's a two-way street. Players got to know what a balk is clearly, and so do the umpires. And there needs to be a consistency. And I don't know if you'll ever get a true consistency, because like you said, it is human error. So I don't want to say that we're not human beings, okay? I don't want to take that human element out. But let's just do our best. They need to do their damnedest to make sure that they keep it as consistent as possible. That's all I care about. It's what it is, man. Ryan Stanek, stop fucking moving. Son of a bitch. LSU, wins their 7th World Series title, man. Jeez. I mean, that's I didn't realize, Logan was talking to me about that. I didn't know that. I didn't realize they had won 7 World Series titles. And what a crazy title it was, man. Hey, Frankie's with us. Frankie, I hope you're don't look down at the screen. You just keep your eye on the road, man. You're down out there in crazy New York.
No hands.
Yeah, okay. If you whatever insurance company you have, I hope they're not watching you right now. Hey, man, I know you wanted to chime in a little bit on that balk talk before we get truthfully into this LSU thing, man. What did you think about the whole balk process? Not so much what Stanek did, but just across the league. Do you think that, we're going to start seeing more of these types of balks, or do you think it's just, every now and again?
Well, I did hear that you said you haven't been seeing a lot of balk calls lately. Honestly, with me, I feel like I've been seeing a lot of balk calls.
Okay.
Not just to the pitcher, throwing it to the batter or whatever like that. I've been seeing balk calls on players that are already on like first base and getting the call to go to second and stuff like that. Kind of like what happened with your pitcher, but it just sucked with your pitcher because it happened when the bases were loaded, and that's how.
Yeah, it did.
But like that's where I've been seeing a lot of the balk calls is there. I see some ball calls here and there where a pitcher mess up and the batter ends up getting rewarded a ball or anything like that. But it's really crazy now in the league, and pitchers are still learning. Excuse me, the sun's in my face. Pitchers are still learning, what's a balk and what isn't.
And let me ask you this, Frankie. I know me and Gonzo were talking about, where does the blame lie? Does the blame lie in Stanek not knowing? Does the blame lie in inconsistency in the umpires calling it, not calling it? Or, now that I really kind of think about it, maybe the blame lies with these pitching coaches for these teams not expressing what balks are and having their pitchers ready to go for the game.
Yeah, some of it is that as well. But then again, with Stanek, we talked about it earlier in the afternoon show. I feel like what happened with him is, and like Dustin said, or our guy, Stat Guy, who everybody knows, Stanek has a certain.
I think he froze up. I think what Frankie was going to say, he has a certain type of approach. Yeah.
He has to learn that he can't do that pitching style that he normally does.
Right.
From last year or anything like that. So I feel like he's still learning, and it's kind of harder for relievers because you don't get to have as many innings as a starter does. You're only in there for about an inning or two if you can last that long. Right.
You know what's interesting to me, and Gonzo, please weigh in on this too, man. When Luis Garcia, back before they, they did this whole pitch clock, when he would rock the baby, I mean, wouldn't even that be considered kind of a balk because it's almost like movements that can, be the runner?
That right there, I think, is where the problem is Major League Baseball and these umpires have let pitchers get away with it so much over the last few years.
Right.
You see guys on the mound getting set and rocking back and forth, or their front leg is moving 3 or 4 times before they bring it up. They used to not let you get away with that stuff, and now I think they're getting back to enforcing it. And I think that's why you're seeing more, because over the last 3 or 4 years they got kind of lax on it. Because I remember watching games, I'm like, fuck it, every time this pitcher pitches, he's balking.
Right. Right.
And that was on multiple teams, and I think now they're starting to crack down on that. And I don't know if it's because of the new rules, and now you got more people trying to steal bases and stuff, so that they're trying to make sure that pitchers aren't getting fooling the runners, or if it's just how well you hear about it in the NFL all the time at the beginning of the season. This is going to be a point of emphasis this year. I wonder if maybe they had the umpire meeting at the beginning of the season, and balks was something that they decided was going to be a point of emphasis again.
No, I agree. Billy Buzz says, hello, pitcher, catcher. How the balks doing tonight? And hey, Billy, I appreciate the sense of humor. I do, man. And then John Suggs comes back on Frankie and says, fun fact, Yankees jerseys has bars on them because That's where they belong, behind bars for cheating over the years. Haha. Just kidding. Love you, Frankie.
Hey, look at this, John. Hey, John, look at this. Look at this, John. Look at this. We were the first pinstripes, and then guess what? Everybody else want to start having pinstripes, right, Chris? Right, Chris?
Yeah, I think y'all were. I don't know if y'all were the first team, but you definitely are a team that is known for wearing pinstripes.
Yeah, Ryan Mallett, man.
I can't believe that. When Frankie posted that today, I was shocked. And drowning is such a horrible way to go, man. And it really broke my heart to see that happened to him. Great football guy out of Arkansas, man. And
hey, I know him.
Family, man. Our condolences go out to you, man, from the Unscripted side.
I don't know him personally, but I know him as a player. He was actually a New England Patriot. He started 4 games for us.
He did. I remember that.
He was a backup for Tom Brady. He started 4 games.
Yeah.
I think they were back in like 2011 or something like that. And when I got the news about Ryan Mallett, man, it honestly broke my heart, because whenever I see a special player end up passing away, it's sad, man. Because for one, Ryan Mallett, you barely got to see how his playing was. I mean, if you really got to see his playing like as a starter and as a good quarterback, it's probably mainly with the Houston Texans. But other than that, man, I remember him being a backup for Tom Brady and coming in playing 4 games in 2011, and he was a phenomenal. He's a good quarterback. He was, he just didn't get that over that hump, and it's really sad, man. It reminds me of Shaq. It is. Chris, it reminds me of Shaq Gaspard, bro. Like, this is really sad.
Frankie, put your hat back on. That you don't have enough hair to walk around without a cap.
I'm fine, bro. It's hot. I can't be wearing my hat. It's too hot right now.
Listen, don't be preaching me about heat. I'm down here in 110 and sweating my you-know-whats.
Nobody's coming back to Houston.
I had to come back to you. John Suggs goes on to say LSU had a loaded team, and one of the kids made it on base every 75 games this season. Dylan Cruz has hit 426, 567, and 713 on-base percentage with 18 home runs, 70 RBIs, number 1 draft pick. I mean, the guy played great. I mean, there's no doubt about it in my mind. I think one of the guys that hasn't been given enough credit, though, is Tank White. Tank White, as you know, hit the walk-off to send them past Wake Forest into this, and then he's had several home runs and several multi-hit games, even in this World Series. I mean, LSU just had a hell of a squad. They kind of got off to a bumpy start that game too, but good squad.
Yeah, well, they have a hell of a squad because of the new NIL rules, and this is what we're going to start seeing in college baseball now.
Right.
I mean, LSU basically bought a national title. I mean, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, because hey, it's within the rules. But like,
I mean,
all those players played for other colleges last year. That big pitcher, I keep forgetting his name. But their main pitcher, he played for like Air Force.
Are you talking about Skiing?
Yeah, he played for Air Force last year. He was a two-way player. He was a pitcher and a catcher. And then he signed an NIL deal with LSU to go there just to pitch. And then they have, like, if I remember right, 4 or 5 other players that they got all on these NIL deals. And that's going to be the new structure that you see in these college sports with these NIL deals, that these programs are going to go after these players and try to win. And
right,
LSU's trying to build like the best sports, be the best sports college in the country, and they got a women's basketball. Now they've done this with baseball, and they're just going to keep doing this NIL stuff with all these other teams and keep trying to rack up championships.
And I think we saw that even we first saw it right in the college football, right? You saw, I mean, look how great Saban was going until the NIL hit, and then all of a sudden now, you got Georgia down there grabbing, number 1 recruits, and all these other teams grabbing all these recruits. Colorado, Dion goes over to Colorado, and all these, guys flock over there with him. I mean, I really, you're right. I mean, the NIL has changed the landscape of college sports as a whole. It really has. But we knew that was going to happen.
Well, now you basically have free agency in college because of the transfer.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Because of the transfer portal.
Well, yeah, right. Exactly. The transfer portal, it is. It's free agency. I mean, there is no, I'm going to stay loyal to this school.
Wait, what do you mean transfer portal? Like, is there an actual portal you can just walk through and just
Hey. You
do
know
you
what,
click a
Frankie?
certain
You know what?
before
Just for
walk
you,
through the
Frankie.
That'd be
Yes,
awesome.
there is a physical portal
That'd be
that you
freaking
walk
awesome.
through.
That'd
Do
be awesome.
you
I
select
don't want
a
to be here no
team?
more. Cool.
Yeah, right. Do you select a team of your choosing on the box before walking through the portal, and then when you walk through it, do you walk out of that area? Like, are you walking in as an LSU player, and then you're walking out as an Alabama player? Is that how it works?
Yeah,
Hey, that's the way it seems like, right?
you get in a DeLorean and you just type in what team you want to be on, and you drive like 100 miles an hour, and all of a sudden you'll be there.
I mean, it's 2023, right? Don't they have an actual portal where you can do that?
Hey, so Billy Buzz goes on to say he had LSU given 1.5 to Wake Forest. Only way I said I could win in the 11th is if he Jackson run. And what do you think? Oh yeah, that's right. Tank White jacked in the 2-1 home run. I mean, what a way to win a bet, Billy. What a way to win a bet, man. Damn.
Billy's been on fire on them parlays here lately.
Hey, you might have to bring old Billy on as a guest on your show sometime, and y'all can do some guest picks together.
Son of a bitch.
They could just call it. They could just call it Reds Money Betting Show.
It hit off the wall. I was watching the Reds. I thought he had a home run, but
Poor Gonzo, man.
At least your game is on. I hate being in the West Coast.
Yeah, my game's on right now too. It was a 6:45 start time, but we're playing St. Louis, so we'll see how that rolls out. But
see, I don't understand. We playing the A's, and they want to start our game at like 9 something. Like, why? It's the A's.
Yeah, because they're playing on the West Coast.
So what? Start the game at West Coast time, like 3 p.m. It could be 6 p.m. here in the East Coast.
Hey, listen, Frankie, I've been fighting that battle forever, and that ain't gonna happen. But I get what you're saying.
I'll be honest with you. I picked the Yankees to win today. I did take the Cardinals at the +1.5, but that's because the Yankees or the Astros have been struggling to score runs. So I figure even if the Astros win, they're only going to win by 1 run. So I took the Cardinals at the +1.5.
And I'm going to be real with you, and it's going to be really shocking coming out of my mouth. But it's not that the Astros are having trouble scoring runs. It's the Astros bullpen having trouble.
Unfortunately, yeah.
And
unfortunately,
it's weird because last year at this time, Jay was saying he had the best bullpen. He did. He wasn't lying. He wasn't sugarcoating his team so much or nothing like that. No, he was being honest. Stat wise and on paper, the Astros had the better bullpen and a better farm system. They win the World Series, and it's like the bullpen is still on a champagne hungover type thing.
Hey, one thing I want to point out about I know we're kind of going back and forth between things, but I wanted to get back to this LSU thing because I know Billy Buzz, I believe, had brought up Dylan Cruz, and one of the things I picked out of that was I think it was the 8th inning. Dylan Cruz gets a triple and starts pointing to his ring finger like, "Hey, I want my ring," and I'm like, "Damn, oh boy, Artie's hey, talk about rubbing it in, damn."
But you know why he did that though, right, Jay? It all started with Joe Burrow.
That's right. I forgot about Joe Burrow.
It's an LSU thing. Joe Burrow did it when they won the national championship. Then the LSU women's college team won the NCAA March Madness this past year. And that female, I forgot her name, she ended up doing it when they won the March Madness. So now he continued it by winning the World Series with them. And he's just like, okay, well, I'm gonna continue the LSU legacy.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, and that, you know what? That actually makes total sense why he did it now. Billy Buzz goes on to say 3-team, $30 parlay I put in, Padres and Balt at 1.5 or bait. Is that bait or Balt? I can't read that.
Blue Jays,
I think he's talking about
Blue Jays, Padres, and Baltimore.
Yeah,
okay, I got you. I thought that was like BJ is in the other kind of BJ, but okay, BJ, Padres, and Baltimore.
See, I'm glad that he said Baltimore because I would have said as Bolt. He's probably thinking about like the Tampa Bay Lightnings or something like Lightning Bolt. Like I don't know.
Hey, either way, Billy. Hey, that's a $30 parlay. Hopefully you don't win that.
He took the Orioles against my Reds.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. I hope he does it. Billy, don't get mad at us, but I hope you don't win that parlay because I really need Cincinnati to beat Baltimore today. Really kind of need
real.
At least he's real. If I'm mistaken, isn't he Chris? He's a Reds fan also.
Billy, I'm not sure what Billy Buzz is.
I think he's a Red Sox fan, if I remember correctly.
I know John
Oh, yeah,
Suggs.
yeah, yeah.
John Suggs is Atlanta. I think Billy is Red Sox. Yeah.
Yeah, he is a Red Sox fan. It was just because in the afternoon show, I remember him saying, "Hey, Chris, how about those Reds?" And then put like fire emoji. So I'm over here thinking he was a Reds fan.
Hey, let's move into a little football real quick, man. Baker Mayfield. There's a lot of questions. Can he do a bounce back like Geno did? And I think what a lot of that is being compared to is Dave Canales was Geno Smith's football coach or quarterback coach last year with Seattle. And of course, the season that Geno had last year. Now he's the offensive coordinator over there with Tampa. And can he do for Baker, what he did for Geno? And of course, you can't bring Metcalf and so forth over. But I mean, he does have a not a bad receiver squad of his own with Evans, Godwin, that Ottman or whatever that tight end he's got over there. I don't know. The only downside for Baker could be that offensive line. We all know that the offensive line for the Buccaneers is trash. I mean, it's bad. It was injury riddled last season. They're swapping guys in. They're swapping guys out. They had guys retire off that O-line. So my only question for this team in terms of Baker being able to do a bounce back is that offensive line, and can they get the offensive line that he's going to acquire? Gonzo?
I think the only way Baker can make a comeback is he go play in the USFL or XFL where he's playing with less talent. I don't think he has it in the NFL anymore.
Oh my God!
I mean, I get where Gonzo's coming from. They also said the same thing about Geno. I mean, they were saying that about him as well.
Here's the difference to me between him and Geno. Geno had his chance with the Jets, and then he didn't get a chance for a long time. How many different teams has Baker went and tried to play for now?
I don't know if I really consider Carolina being a true. Carolina wasn't really a true great team that he could just go in there and do something.
Hold on, Jay.
I don't know.
Chris, don't say that. Do not say that with Baker because Geno Smith is the same thing. He's been in the league for 7 years and he's already had 4 different teams.
Oh, that's true. But
my thing about it is, Geno started out as a
Baker fan when he came out, and I've been disappointed.
Hey, but do you think? Go ahead, Frankie. I'm sorry.
No, what I was gonna say is I just feel like, and Jay is completely right. If they can get their offensive line to stay healthy and be better, I think Baker Mayfield is gonna have an absolute amazing season. I don't think it's gonna happen even with a healthy lineup because Baker Mayfield isn't Tom Brady. I feel like Baker Mayfield is gonna be better than Jameis Winston or however you say his name. He's gonna be better than him. He's not going to be better than Tom Brady. He does have the weapons, like you said. You got Mike Evans, you got Godwin. But the real question is, Jay, how healthy will Godwin be? If he's good to go, then that's good. But then again, how long is he going to last in this season? Because no doubt about it, he's going to get injured at some point this season. This guy's an injury-prone wide receiver. Like he can't just.
I understand what you're saying. Oh yeah, no, but you know what? Metcalf has had his injury issues too. But I totally get what you're saying.
Not as much as Godwin.
Well, not as much as Godwin. I'll give you that for sure.
Is Evans still in Tampa Bay? Because he's another guy that can have has had some injury issues as well.
I just think it's kind of weird. Geno Smith and Baker Mayfield both started out as the stars of their team. Then they went into a journeyman class. Now they're taking over for a former star quarterback. Obviously, Geno did it with Russell Wilson, and Baker is trying to do it after Tom Brady. Obviously, it worked out well for Geno. Again, the parity is they both had the same offensive guy in Canales. So there's a lot of similarities between these two guys. I will say, though, that Geno is benefiting off what we all know is a better team, offensive line, and quality of health in their receivers.
One question real quick. Who's Tampa Bay's coach? Is it still
you know who it is. It's that dude. Is it Todd Bowles? I think it's Todd Bowles,
right? It's still Bowles. So one difference I would say between Geno's situation with Seattle and Bowles and Mayfield's situation with Tampa, I think Geno has the better coach than Pete Carroll.
Yeah, I mean, who's to say? I mean, maybe Sean Payton can resurrect what Russell Wilson was going through. I mean, look, you don't see what Sean Payton
I was
can
talking
do.
about between Carroll.
Oh, no, I was referring to what John Suggs was saying.
Okay. I was talking about between Carroll and Bowles. I think Carroll's the better coach. So I think Gino had that as an.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I definitely think Pete Carroll is a better coach than Todd Bowles. I don't think there's an issue there. No, I was just referring to what John was saying about. He says if you're going to ask that, you might as well think Peyton can make Russell Wilson have a comeback here. Why can't he? Look what he's done for guys. Look, he took Jameis Winston from what he was from a shell of himself after he came out of Tampa and started making people believe in Jameis Winston again with New Orleans. Now, Jameis Winston did go through some health issues even again at New Orleans, but still, the guy was on a comeback trajectory. So I don't think it takes much for Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson is still a good athlete. I think Sean Payton can do for him like what he did for Breeze. If you remember Breeze was horrible with San Diego. They traded him away. He goes down to New Orleans, gets up underneath Sean Payton, and he gets the Super Bowl. San Diego, last time I checked, San Diego's still trying to get a Super Bowl.
Yeah, because Jay's over here talking about Sean Payton and Drew Brees and winning Super Bowls and stuff. They only won one.
Yeah, and
they got one.
And Brees wasn't terrible in San Diego. But he got hurt and he hurt his shoulder, and San Diego didn't want to pay him. That's why
I think that's a lot of it.
I
definitely think San Diego gave up on him too quick.
They gave up on him too quick.
And I'm the last person to ever say, like, you know, the NFL's rigged or the NFL's cheating for these teams or whatever like that. But, like, I honestly 100% do think that the NFL cheated for the Saints that year because that was the year, like, right after Hurricane Katrina and stuff like that. They needed something for the spirit of New Orleans to, you know, to have some hypeness and stuff like that. And I feel like the Saints ended up winning that just because the NFL gave it to them for that Katrina stuff. But I'm the last person to say it. Drew Brees is still an amazing quarterback, no doubt about it. He's an amazing quarterback.
Hey,
I don't think Russell Wilson can do what Sean Payton and Drew Brees did.
I don't know. I mean, hey, I'm not gonna say one way or the other. I'm just gonna wait and see. I'm gonna do a wait and see approach and see what happens. We'll see. Greg Broderick says he told people that Baker Mayfield would be a bust in the NFL. Has he looked not as good as what people wanted him to be? Yes. Could be heading towards a bust category? Maybe. He's still playing. He's still in the league. I'm not giving up on Baker just yet. I want to see what he does over in Tampa, but at the same time, Chris made good points and Frankie made good points. You know, if he is going to do something over there, they do have an ailing team. I mean, there's a lot of health issues on the O-line, the receivers. So I don't know how well this is going to pan out for Baker. He is competing with Kyle Trask for that starting job. I think he outbeats Kyle Trask. But I just don't know, man. There's a lot of question marks over in Tampa. I think John Suggs even said, or was it John, or it may have even been Billy that said that that's, you know, there's a lot of old people over there. So,
hey, I love Greg. Greg's a cool dude, but I'm not gonna listen to a Kansas City Chiefs fan. All right, let's be real. Greg, you just came out of your shell like 5 to 6 years ago. All right, let's be real here. We all know you were hiding in your shell before Patrick Mahomes came around.
Wow.
Love you, Greg. Greg, I love you.
There it is. Yeah. Hey, John Suggs, that's the comment I was referring to. He says, can Baker have a comeback with what team? You mean a retirement home team? So, yeah, I get what you're saying, John. I really do. And and it's unfortunate, that Baker, if that is the case for him, that makes it hard for him, but we'll see, man. You never know, man. It's the NFL, man. Anything can happen on any given Sunday, man.
At least the man is getting an opportunity. He's not, looking like what's this guy's name? Johnny Manziel. They could have did him dirty like Johnny Manziel did.
Oh man, woo! Yeah, you're right.
No team could have picked him up. He could have ended up going to the Canadian League. He would have been bad there. And then what would have happened with Baker Mayfield? Or like he could have, like Chris said. I feel like if he didn't go to a team, if the Tampa Bay Bucks didn't sign him, I agree with what Chris said. You should have went to the XFL or the USFL, develop your game more. Get a little bit better, and then hopefully sometime down the road a team will pick you up when you're better as a better football quarterback.
I think the thing
he said, Yeah, you had to rank top running backs from last year. How would you rank them? This is my list: McCaffrey, Swiss Army knife. Number 2 is Nick Chubb. Number 3, Josh Jacobs. Number 4, Henry. Number 5, Pollard. 6, ETN. I think Cook. Legs are cooked. He can't even get a number 1 pick. I mean, there's a lot of truth in what you're saying. McCaffrey did have a damn good season. I don't know why you don't have Barkley in there. I thought Barkley showed a lot of promise last season. I thought he did a lot of things really well. I think maybe I'll put Barkley in there before I put ETN in there.
I don't know why he doesn't have Ramondre Stevenson. That man, he got over 1,000 receiving or 1,000 rushing yards. I think he had like 1,300 rushing yards last year for the Patriots.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I do like we have Nick Chubb at number 2. I like Josh Jacobs at number 3. Pollard did get hurt at number 5, but before he got hurt, he was playing really well. The ETN, I don't know if I'm quite sold on that one there. I think you're right. I think you could go with Stevenson out of New England, or you could go with Barkley.
If we was going to put a guy like Pollard in there that got hurt, I would say Breece Hall probably belongs in there as well.
Yeah, you can even put Breece Hall in there. I wouldn't be mad. Yeah, I'm right there with you.
I would take Nick Chubb out and put Saquon Barkley in at number 2. I don't think Nick Chubb deserves to be number 2.
I mean, okay, and even with that logic, and I'm not faulting you for that, by the way. I still think ETN comes out. I think Henry. I don't know if Henry should be in there. I think Henry's kind of slowed down. If we're talking about Dalvin Cook's legs being cooked, Travis Henry hasn't looked like the old school Travis Henry that we remember. He's kind of a shell a little bit. So I think I take all 3. I think I take Henry out. I think I take Pollard out. I think I take ETN out. I think McCaffrey should be in there. I think Nick Chubb should be in there. And then if you want to put Jacobs should be in there. And if you want to throw Barkley, Stevenson, or even because I don't want, if we're doing injuries out with like Pollard out, then I got to keep Breece Hall out. But
who was the running back for the Falcons last year? Didn't he have a real good year?
No, he didn't. No.
Not with ATL.
That they didn't have a good. Atlanta didn't have a good running game, which is why they went and got Bijan Robinson.
Okay, yeah, Robinson.
And truthfully, I don't know what you guys thought about Foreman when he took over for McCaffrey. I'm not saying that he's great, or as good as Barkley or in this list, but I really thought Foreman did a good job taking over for McCaffrey in that offense. I thought he did pretty well.
If Jonathan Taylor would have never got hurt, I feel like he would have been number 1 on this list.
You're right, man. Jonathan's right in there too. I think he will be in there when he comes back.
That's why I didn't mention his name, was because of he got hurt.
Frankie.
It ruined me. I know I laughed at that when Greg said that. It happens, man. Every time there's always a dynasty. It's been the dynasties going back to like the 70s and stuff. Jay used to be part of a dynasty. I was part of a dynasty. Chris was a small little dynasty between the 2000s to 2010. He had like a small little dynasty of 1 Super Bowl with Peyton Manning, but he had winning records in playoff times.
Yeah, I'm right there at ETN. I just don't see that. Barkley, Barkley though, he doesn't really do good when he gets hit. He's kind of an elusive guy, right? If you hit him, he probably will go down. He's that kind of guy that tries to be like Sweetness. He tries to shake and juke you. That's what he's built for. Not so much the yards after the tackle or yards after the hit, whatever. And I don't know. I mean, I think that list, everybody's going to have their own list, obviously, but I do think we all can agree. I thought McCaffrey played pretty damn good over there with the 49ers. Coming back from injury. I thought he did pretty well. And I am looking forward to seeing what Breece Hall can do next year. I'm looking forward to see if Pollard can pick up where he left off. And Dalvin Cook, let's talk about him real quick. Miami made him an offer. What do y'all think about that?
Sorry, why'd you say I was paying attention to the Reds game? We just scored a run.
Hold on a minute. I got you, boo. If you can't pay attention, you can't be in the show. Kidding. I'm just kidding. You can totally be in the show. I love you. No, the question was,
I thought McClain hit a home run, but it hit off the top of the
Hey, listen, get out of Reds land, okay? Come back here. You can go back to Reds land. It ain't going nowhere. That's what I get. Don't you get a DVR over? Oh, maybe no.
You can't DVR a game. You got to watch it live. DVR,
hey, trust me, I get it. I'm right there with you. Hey, the question was, Dalvin Cook gets an offer from Miami, does he go to Miami?
I don't know.
I think he does.
It's hard to say because I don't know if he's getting any offers from anybody else or how much the offer's for. But I mean, for it to come out, I would say there's probably a good chance that he's going to go there since it came out and been made public. Because usually when we hear something about it, that's the ones that usually happen.
Right. Currently, Miami's got 4 running backs on their list. We obviously know Mostert and Wilson are on there at 1 and 2. Gaskin is sitting at number 4, and there's some dude at number 3 that I can't remember his damn name. Who doesn't really matter is at number 3. If they do bring in Dalvin Cook, that's going to give them 5, which means somebody's got to go. If not, 2 people got to go. I think if you bring in Dalvin Cook, I think you let go of Gaskin, and I think you let go of that dude that's in the number 3 spot. You roll with Cook, Mostert, and Wilson. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I believe if Dalvin Cook ends up going to Miami, which I think he most likely will because Dalvin Cook is from Miami, born and raised. He actually played high school in Miami, which is why that's one of the destinations he wanted to go to. The other one was Buffalo because he wanted to play with his brother. But now that it's been public that it might sign a contract with Miami, I agree with you. I feel like 2 of those players got to go. If not, maybe one go and one becomes a practice squad member. And the one person that you're gonna have to let go, and this is just in my eyes is Gaskin. And the reason why I say that is because you could probably get a valuable player for this dude, or at least a draft pick or so. Because
I think you could get a 2nd or a 3rd round pick for him, which would be perfect.
Yeah, you can. And we all know after Miami, after what happened with the controversy of tampering with Tom Brady during the offseason, during the regular season, or something like that, they got their 1st round draft pick taken away. And they actually didn't have a draft pick until day 3 of the draft, which was around round 4, round 5. So they didn't have a draft pick the first 2 nights. And you got to start building up on your draft picks. So if you could get a draft pick for him, that's absolutely amazing. Or if you could get a defensive caliber player for him, that would be amazing as well. I don't think any team is going to give away a top tier wide receiver or anything like that for Myles Gaskin. So you're going to have to look elsewhere for a positional player defensively. I would say because, defense always wins you championships. But if, like me and Jay said, if you could get like a 2nd or 3rd round, even a 4th round pick for him, that would be a perfect scenario for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, we're going to roll into this last Chris, unless you had anything else you wanted to wrap up with the – oh, by the way, Chris, I do have one question for you. James Cook clearly is the number 1 running back right now, I think, at least when I looked at the depth chart for the Bills, they got James Cook slotted in at the number 1 spot. Do you think that Dalvin may still try to go to Buffalo and link up with his brother?
I think there's a chance. I've also been hearing a lot of talk that he might go to the New York Jets, and
that's interesting.
They have Cook and Hall in the backfield.
That could be a hell of a 1-2 punch.
But I'd have to lean toward Miami since there's been an offer made.
But let's not forget, yes, the offer's been made for Miami, but Dalvin Cook also went out and said that he wants to team up with DeAndre Hopkins. And I'm not saying that, the Patriots should go out and get Dalvin Cook just to team him up with DeAndre Hopkins, because I don't think the Patriots and Bill Belichick would do something like that just for money situations and money purposes. But it will be a funny thing if Dalvin Cook does end up going on the same team with DeAndre Hopkins. So just keep that in mind as well if he doesn't sign with Miami anytime soon. There's no need to rush for any free agencies or free agent players to go ahead and rush. We don't start training camp fully for about another couple weeks or 3 weeks or so.
Yeah, absolutely. I think either way, I think he's going to be in your division at some level.
Hey, Jay, I got to go. Remember,
you're good.
I talked to you last night. I told you I was going to have to get off a little early because I got that.
Oh, yeah. No, you're fine. You're fine. Hey, I'll catch you Thursday.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you tomorrow, but okay. I'll see you Thursday.
Well, no, my bad. I meant, yeah, I'll definitely talk to you tomorrow. I meant on Unscripted. I apologize. Right. Yes.
Later, Frankie.
Later, Chris. Hey, Chris, before you go, hold on. I want to ask Jay something for you. Jay, who was the only team to sweep the Astros?
Hey, watch this. Not the Yankees. It might be a team called the Reds. All right, Chris, get out of here. See you tomorrow. Hey, real quick, man. So let's talk about this. Our last topic of the night, and then we'll get up out of here too. Connor Bedard. I put the word will, but we all know Connor Bedard is going to go number one. This guy is stupid. Frankie, this guy is stupid, man. Chicago Blackhawks, they got the number one spot. Kyle Davidson, the GM, is expected, unless he's a moron, he's expected to draft him at number one. This guy literally has been a player of the year in every damn draft league he's been a part of. And the kid's only like 19, or I think he's 17. He hasn't even learned how to shave yet, but yet he is with the Regina Pats of the Western Hockey League. He's 5'10", 185, and in that Western Hockey League, he is considered a top prospect by several news agencies. Good character, consistent performer, led the Western Hockey League in scoring with 71 goals, 143 points. The top forward in the Canadian Hockey League as well. MVP in the Canadian Hockey League. I mean, the guy just first player, I think, in Canadian Hockey League history to simultaneously win top prospect, top scorer, player of the year awards. Team is rebuilding in Blackhawks. And I think, Frankie, unless this guy Davidson over there is a moron, if you're going to rebuild, this will be a hell of a piece to be your foundation. What do you think?
Yeah, me and Mike Hughes, who is our Chicago native guy, he's a Chicago everything, knows more about this, and we talked about this as well towards the end of the season last year. This is a started player, and it'll be dumb if Chicago doesn't draft this dude. This kid, like you already threw out his resume. Like, the kid is absolutely stunning, and I think he's gonna be great for the Chicago Blackhawks. And Chicago actually made a trade yesterday with the Boston Bruins and getting 2 veteran players. So having this kid come up and learn from veteran players that played in Boston, let alone a couple players that won Stanley Cup. It'll be an amazing thing for him. I can't wait to see this kid play. I think he's going to be an absolute phenomenal player for the Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah, absolutely. Billy Buzz goes on to say Gretzky-like talent. I mean, it sure seems like he's, on that type of trajectory. Billy Buzz Smith says pitcher or catcher. Billy Buzz, this is Pride Month. Please don't ask that ever again. Shortstop. I'm going catcher. Shortstop. I said catcher from the beginning. I'm going to stick to my guns, even though I'm speaking out both sides of my mouth, because I did specifically say, and I realize the importance of the pitcher position. But at the same time, I still think them guys got to work together in order for both of them to be successful and the team to be successful, regardless. Either way, pitcher, catcher, whatever you think, man. I think you got to have both. If you don't have both, you're probably still not going anywhere. Final thoughts, man. Hey, Frankie, man, what a time to be alive, brother. Lots of good baseball on tonight. What are your final thoughts, bro? Did I lose you, Frankie? You still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, my daughters were crying.
Oh, no, you're okay. I just didn't know if you froze up or something.
No. Yeah, my final thoughts is, oh, man, we only got baseball, right? I mean, we only got baseball right now, so I'm just sitting here waiting. I got another, let me see the time. Yeah, I got another hour before the Yankee game start against the Oakland A's. We got Ian Hamilton coming back from the IR. Ian Hamilton is a bullpen pitcher who's actually really a star-studded guy. He likes to pitch a lot of ground outs. His ERA before he left was a 1.23. So I can't wait to see him come back. And also, I shared this breaking news with Jay earlier, about 3 hours ago. Carlos Rodon is finally set to debut for the New York Yankees on July 5th. My brother's birthday, July 5th, at Yankee Stadium against the Baltimore Orioles. And I cannot wait to see this man do what he does best. It's about time the Yankees start getting healthy. We have too many people on the IR, and we're slowly starting to get healthy at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Billy, man, much love, man. And you have a good night as well. And thank you for commenting, Billy, and for hanging out with us. John Suggs, much love, man. Thanks for hanging out with us. Leanne Beeks, Dylan Beeks, Greg Broderick. I hope Billy Buzz Smith. I think Tony Gonzalez, man, appreciate you. I think I got everybody that commented, man. Hey, I appreciate all the love and support. Ray Cruz. Thank you, man, for hanging out with us, commenting, and so forth. Yeah, I got everybody, man. Hey, without you guys, man, we don't have a show, man. So we definitely appreciate everybody that hung out with us tonight. And John, I think
Jay.
which
I want to answer John Suggs real quick.
Okay, go ahead. I apologize.
No, I was just gonna say I do agree with what he says. The Mets are in a conversation of the most disappointing MLB team of the year. After spending, I think it was a total of like what $600 or $300 billion or 600, or I'm sorry, $300 to $600 million worth of players. The most disappointing season for them. But you can also point out that there's other teams that are disappointed. The Yankees are disappointing. Astros are disappointing. Seattle, Dodgers, Padres, Cardinals, like a bunch of teams that were in the playoffs last year are coming out this year looking disappointing. So, but the Mets, they're up there, most definitely.
Man, I'll tell you what, hey, with that kind of payroll, it's funny, real quick, my last part inside is this. You got Tampa-based payroll. They don't spend crap for their players. But, yeah, they're like number one, I think, in the league right now in record. And then you got a team like the Mets that have, basically, given up, deficit, type numbers for their squad, and they can't do bupkis. It just kind of shows you that you don't have to spend all the money. You don't have to acquire all the top-rated talent. You can do it right there with homegrown stuff coming out of your farm system. So let that sink in and let that marinate. Congratulations on, again, man, not number one, Carlos Rendon. Good to see you coming back. I like to see healthy guys come back. Gonzo, man, you're still, the Reds are still killing it. You're only a half game out. I think my Astros were up 1-0. Hopefully we can do something. Frankie, you better freaking – no, it don't matter if you win tonight because the A's ain't doing nothing anyway, but that's just good on you personally. Gonzo is the one I need to win tonight. He's playing the Baltimore Orioles. And, Frankie, you need him to win too because we're all trying to get that top spot. So, with that being said, let me just leave you with this. Please, 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 man, check us out Thursday as we start off a new style of format where we're going to have Close to Home as our first segment. And it will be broken down into 3 10-minute segments or 4 less than 10-minute segments, depending on how many podcasters come on, where we're going to break down each of our teams. And we're going to start, and it's going to be a one-on. It's not going to be all three of us. We're going to do single shots for those 10 minutes of each person, giving you the introspective of their team. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. We're going to do it for baseball, basketball, football, hockey. We'll do the whole gamut, and you're going to get to see all of that. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it, man. And please make sure you check us out on all of our social media out there. There's a link tree floating around that has all this out there in case you don't know how to do this. That will guide you to wherever you want to see it. But catch that on Facebook at Unscripted, Twitter at Unscripted Guys, TikTok Unscripted Sports, YouTube and Twitch also Unscripted Sports. 7 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays Eastern, and Saturdays at 1 Eastern. It's been your boy, Jay McLovin. We had Gonzo from Gonzo Sports Room. And always, Frankie the Yankee, Frankie the Lanker, Foxborough Frankie. Jesus, so many Frankies hanging out with us, bringing you the great sports content that they do. You guys be good. Much love and appreciation. And we will catch you Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Y'all have a good night.